In a peculiar dystopian future, society enforces an extraordinary law. Being single is illegal. Romantic partners are mandatory, and newly single individuals are immediately taken to a strange hotel. Here, they are given a stark choice: find a partner within 45 days or be transformed into an animal of their choosing. This bizarre rule turns the idea of love into a desperate and literal life-or-death game. The movie opens with an unsettling scene. A woman drives through a quiet, desolate road until she stops by a field. Two small donkeys graze peacefully, unaware of her approach. She exits her vehicle, raises a gun, and shoots one of the donkeys, leaving it lifeless in the grass. The act is chilling and unexplained, setting a tone of unease that lingers. The focus shifts to David, an architect whose world has just collapsed. His wife has left him for another man, rendering him newly single and subject to society's harsh rules. He arrives at the hotel with his brother, who has already failed to find love and now exists as a dog. Upon checking in, David undergoes a formal interview. The receptionist explains a key dating rule. Couples must share a defining characteristic to ensure compatibility. David, who is short-sighted, must find a partner who is also short-sighted. David is escorted to his room, where he meets the strict hotel manager. She methodically explains the rules. Self-pleasure is forbidden. Romantic partners must always stay together, and failure to find love within the given time frame means being turned into an animal. When asked what animal he'd like to become if he fails, David responds, "A lobster." His reasoning is thoughtful. Lobsters are fertile, live for over 100 years, and he enjoys the sea. The manager approves, noting that most people choose dogs, which disrupts the ecosystem. Before leaving, the maid cuffs one of David's hands, a physical reminder of the strict no self-pleasure rule. The next morning, David joins the other singles for breakfast. Here, he meets Robert, a man who speaks with a pronounced lisp, and John, who walks with a noticeable limp. Together, they observe three women in the dining area. First is the heartless woman, notorious for her complete lack of emotion. Next is the biscuit woman, always seen clutching a small pack of biscuits, as if it's her shield against the world. Finally, there's the nosebleed woman, who suffers from relentless and spontaneous nosebleeds. The three men discuss the women with a mix of curiosity and quiet desperation, each wondering who might become their partner. Later that day, an assembly is called. It's an opportunity for the singles to share their stories, a grim reminder of what's at stake. John is the first to speak. With a somber tone, he recounts his family's tragic past. His father left his mother for another woman, leading to his mother's transformation into a wolf. She was relocated to a zoo, and John, as a boy, would visit her enclosure frequently. One day, consumed by longing, he climbed into the enclosure to hug her. The wolves attacked him, leaving him permanently injured with his limp. Yet amidst the chaos, two wolves stood still. John believes one of them was his mother, silently recognizing him. His story leaves the room in heavy silence. Other singles begin sharing their experiences, each story a blend of heartbreak and absurdity. The room is a mosaic of desperation, hope, and quiet resignation, as everyone clings to the faint possibility of finding love before time runs out. The story takes another peculiar turn as the singles gather for a dance party, an event orchestrated to encourage them to mingle and find potential partners. David, ever cautious, dances with a nosebleed woman. Despite their polite interaction, he quickly realizes they lack a shared characteristic, a key requirement for compatibility. The moment feels futile, yet it underscores the strict and mechanical nature of relationships in this world. Not long after, the singles participate in a hunt, a grim tradition targeting loners, individuals who have fled the hotel to escape the fate of being turned into animals. Armed with tranquilizer guns, the hunters scour the forest, capturing loners and returning them to the hotel for transformation. For every loner caught, the captor gains an extra day to secure a partner. Among the hunters, the heartless woman reigns supreme. Her cold, unfeeling demeanor allows her to catch as many as 10 loners in a single hunt. In stark contrast, David fails to capture even one. Life at the hotel grows increasingly strange. The men are subjected to moderate sexual stimulation by the maid, a calculated effort to keep their interest in finding a partner. But strict rules govern their behavior, and transgressions are met with severe punishment. One day, the hotel manager discovers Robert has broken the no masturbation rule. His punishment is brutal. His fingers are burned in a toaster, an agonizing reminder of the hotel's merciless discipline. On a bus ride to another hunt, the biscuit woman sits beside David. She attempts to make small talk, but David remains indifferent. Frustrated and desperate, she confesses her plan to jump from her bedroom window if she fails to find a partner. Her despair is palpable, yet David offers no comfort. Later, during a swimming session, John intentionally injures himself, causing his nose to bleed. He uses this opportunity to bond with the nosebleed woman, claiming nosebleeds are a common occurrence for him. The two quickly form a connection, move to a larger room, and enjoy the privileges of couplehood. Meanwhile, true to her word, the biscuit woman jumps from her window. As she lies writhing in pain, the heartless woman watches indifferently, her lack of empathy chilling. David's desperation grows as his days dwindle to just 1 week. He decides to approach the heartless woman, adopting an emotionless facade to appeal to her nature. His strategy works, and the two begin a relationship. One evening, while they sit in a jacuzzi, the heartless woman pretends to choke on an olive. David remains unmoved, solidifying their compatibility in her eyes. They are soon moved into a larger room and granted access to couples-only activities, such as tennis. However, David struggles to maintain his facade, pretending to be as cold and detached as his partner. Their relationship takes a dark turn when they encounter John, the nosebleed woman, and a little girl named Elizabeth, who has been assigned as their child. In a cruel attempt to mock John's limp, David kicks Elizabeth in the shin, causing her to limp as well. The heartless woman seems pleased, but cracks in David's act begin to show. She starts to suspect he is not as emotionless as he claims. One morning, she tests him. With blood streaking her legs, she claims to have killed David's brother, the dog, by repeatedly kicking him. David fights to remain indifferent, but when he finds his brother's lifeless body in the bathroom, he breaks down and cries. The heartless woman immediately slaps him, furious at his deceit. She drags him toward the hotel manager to expose him, but David overpowers her, knocking her unconscious. The maid, who witnesses the altercation, promises to stay silent. Together, they drag the heartless woman to the transformation room, where David ensures she is turned into an animal, her fate left unknown. David flees the hotel and joins the loners in the forest. The loner leader welcomes him, but warns him of their strict rules. Romantic interactions are strictly forbidden, and punishments for breaking this rule are severe. David notices a man with bandaged lips, a victim of the red kiss punishment, in which both parties' lips are cut off, forcing them to kiss. The red intercourse, the loner leader explains, is even worse, a punishment so ghastly it's left to the imagination. Amid the harsh conditions of the forest, David forms a bond with the short-sighted woman, another loner. He wins her over by catching and cooking rabbits in a way that pleases her. Their growing affection is undeniable, but they must keep it hidden to avoid punishment. One day, during a hunt, Robert spots David. Desperate to earn more time, Robert captures him. David pleads for mercy, but Robert hesitates only briefly before attempting to take him. The short-sighted woman intervenes, attacking Robert and saving David. It's revealed during this time that the hotel maid is secretly working with the loner leader, feeding her insider information. Trapped in an unhappy marriage, the maid remains loyal to the loners, knowing she cannot leave her husband without being forced back into the hotel as a single person. Together, they begin plotting a larger attack, determined to challenge the system that has oppressed them all. Each month, two loners pretending to be a couple venture into the city to procure food and supplies for their group. This time, The leader and her partner decide to take David and the short-sighted woman along. David and his partner navigate the bustling city streets, carefully maintaining their facade. The contrast between the rigid, oppressive structure of the hotel and the seemingly normal life in the city is stark, underscoring the irony of their dystopian reality. A few days later, the loners prepare for a daring attack on the hotel. Under the cover of night, they infiltrate the premises with the maid's help. The maid, disillusioned with her life, now fully allies herself with the loners. They seize control of the manager and her husband, holding them hostage in their own domain. In a chilling test of loyalty and love, the husband is handed a gun and given a brutal choice: shoot his wife to save his own life. Without a moment's hesitation, he pulls the trigger. The gun clicks, it's empty. The horrifying test reveals the absence of love in their relationship, further emphasizing the grim realities of this society. While the attack unfolds, David takes a detour to confront John and the nosebleed woman. He exposes John's deceit, revealing that his nosebleeds were fabricated to win her affection. The couple's bond shatters, and the loners retreat to the woods, taking the maid with them as a new member of their group. In the days that follow, David grows closer to the short-sighted woman. Their bond deepens as they begin planning an escape from the woods, dreaming of a life free from the constraints of both the hotel and the loners. However, their secret plans are uncovered when the leader discovers the short-sighted woman's diary. Furious at their betrayal, she keeps her knowledge hidden, waiting for the perfect moment to exact her revenge. A few days later, the leader takes the short-sighted woman into the city under the pretense of helping her regain her sight. Instead, in a cruel act of betrayal, she ensures the woman's blindness is permanent. When they return to the woods, the short-sighted woman slowly realizes her vision isn't coming back. Overwhelmed by rage and despair, she lashes out, attacking the leader in an attempt to kill her. Tragically, she kills the maid by mistake, her emotions clouding her judgment. Distraught, she confesses everything to David. Fearing that her blindness will drive him away, she initially tries to hide her condition, but eventually, she reveals the truth. David reassures her, vowing to stay by her side. He dedicates himself to helping her adapt, sharpening her other senses like touch and smell. Despite their efforts, they struggle to find a new common trait, their once solid connection now shaken. Determined to break free, David suggests they kill the leader and escape the woods for good. Together, they devise a plan. David kidnaps the leader and throws her into an open grave, leaving her at the mercy of the wild dogs that roam the forest. Her screams fade as the dogs close in, and David and the short-sighted woman make their escape. Disguised as a couple, they make their way into the city, leaving the oppressive wilderness behind. They stop at a quiet diner, trying to blend into the normalcy of urban life. Over the table, David reveals his final decision. He plans to blind himself to share the same physical trait as her, ensuring they remain compatible. The short-sighted woman listens in silence, her face a mixture of shock, gratitude, and sorrow. Moments later, David asks the waiter for a knife. He heads to the restroom, his steps slow and deliberate. Inside, he faces the mirror, holding the knife with trembling hands. As he steels himself to carry out the act, the screen cuts to black, leaving viewers with an image of the short-sighted woman waiting at the table. Her expression is unreadable, a blend of hope, fear, and uncertainty. Did you enjoy the recap? Please like and subscribe, and hit the notification bell to be updated next time we drop. Thanks for watching.